do Carlson Neiman, if I just grow it a bit longer, will I get better at chess?
Is this kind of like the style now that people are doing? Like you curly haired people, you're just growing your hair like really big or something? Or
only 2700s like us. So
yeah, 2700s like you. Yeah. Is it laziness then? Is it or?
Yeah, I think it is. Yeah, it's finding time to go and get it cut. So yeah, maybe next week it'll look a bit trimmer.
Okay, right. Well, we'll see. Because there was actually, I think there was a haircut, and it might have been called "Meet Me at McDonald's" or something like that. It's where the kids have it like shaved there, then they have it like curly on top, like yours is, but like really super like short around the sides.
See, it's so long that it's actually burying my headphones. You can't even see that.
So how long is it when you pull it straight?
It's pretty long, I think. Yeah, I don't know. Like. It's not as long as Carlson and Neiman's, but...
No, okay, right, yeah. Because, Carlson's really let himself go a little bit, hasn't he?
Well, I think he smartened up for the World Championships, actually. So, yeah.
Oh, okay.
He looked a bit more...
presentable?
A bit more trim. Yeah.
Yeah, because
he got rid of the big beard and stuff. Maybe, I think maybe he thought it was effective in his performance or something.
But, I mean, technically, he is a Viking, isn't he? So...
Yeah.
He can kind of pull off that kind of look of, like, big beard and everything else like that. But I mean, it's good that he's made himself a bit more presentable because he has done quite a lot of work though, hasn't he, on like fitness and stuff, hasn't he? Or
he's like in athlete shape, isn't he? He's got like an 8-pack and stuff, and
an 8-pack. I thought it was a 6-pack. Am I confused? What?
Oh, 8 is where it's at, really.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I've missed that part.
8's when you go like next level, and it's like you've got some like packs below the belly button or something.
Right, I've not heard of that one, but clearly I've not got. I'm not anywhere close to that. But to be honest, as you get better at chess, though, that is part of improving as well. It's like if you try and improve every area of your game, you've got to try and improve every area just 1% better than what it was.
Yeah,
and if your fitness isn't there. Then that is something that it's something that I am actually looking at myself a lot at the moment. I'm just literally, I could load it up on here. I've got a little food diary of what I'm eating, and I've just started it. There it is. There's some proof.
But when I get some time, I've been meaning to look into, or at least try to look in, just out of interest, the science of actual scientific papers and evidence about food and things. Like I was just kind of wondering if there's any evidence for caffeine, how much caffeine is ideal, when should you eat before something, right? Because there might be some evidence, even if it's not related to chess, it might be to do with exams, like because essentially it's a bit like doing an exam, like should you eat just before, an hour before, what should you eat, etc. So and I was reading a book recently. What's it called? It's about like intuition and calculation. Daniel Kahneman, and he was they were saying like how much sugar you have available in your blood like massively affects your intuition. So I didn't realize that. I thought intuition was just like it's either there or it's not. But apparently, like. Intuition needs like sugar, so yeah, that was interesting. So I was just kind of wondering whether there was more sort of science behind other bits of chess,
Actually, the guy that I play football with on Tuesday nights before Title Tuesday, he's a lecturer at Keele University. I actually asked him, is in the sports kind of nutrition-ish department, and just asked him for a bit of advice too. So. I might get back to you on this when I've had a few more conversations and maybe looked into it a bit more. But there's also Benjamin Portho, who started an interview for that 24-hour stream or 25-hour stream right at the start. He's a chess psychologist, but also just chess improvement expert as well. Okay. So he doesn't just do psychology. He talked a lot about sleep deprivation and how that massively impacts your games and what you're good at. So I think there's a wealth of information out there, and sometimes it might just be doing something quite simple. Like the one thing that I don't know, and maybe people can help me out with this, is if you got 2 games in a day, should I be exercising in the morning or not?
Yeah,
because part of me thinks when I exercise, I do actually feel really quite awake, but I'm actually very, very worried that by the time that second game comes along, that I will be shattered at the same time. Yeah. Or maybe I should exercise before both. I honestly have no idea what the answer to this question is.
I think generally being fit is important, and like you can tell that now by a lot of the top players, apart from like Nepo. You look at them and they're all quite thin. And Caruana talks about it on his podcast and stuff that he's clearly in the gym a lot and things. So
yeah.
And he mentioned on this last thing that he said that he saw Abdussaturov in the gym. And he was like hammering it on the treadmill and stuff. So obviously, I think the younger generation are probably even more into exercise than the previous ones as well. So
yeah, well, I guess it's quite a grueling schedule for them though as well. They're literally playing, it feels like, every single weekend or week. And I guess when you're comparing like one kid to another kid there, like one 17-year-old to another 17-year-old, what's the difference between the two? What's going to make that edge? And they're trying to find that edge in the gym, aren't they? Trying to get themselves better. Yeah. All right, okay. Well, obviously more into that as we get going. And obviously we've got some people listening live and some people probably watching on record as well. We'll just be going through the typical topics at the start. Obviously, we want to have a look at the Welsh Chess Union calendar and the ratings just to see if there's any changes there. Obviously, we'll talk about an upcoming tournament that's coming up in about a week and a half's time. And then we've got some really interesting topics here. Obviously, the government funding is still quite recent, actually, an announcement. And it's almost felt like, along with that announcement, as the ECF has got a new number one. So we'll talk a little bit about that. And then I guess you can maybe give a bit more information. And you mentioned before about some ratings as well, which is quite interesting. So we'll look at that too. We both played in Title Tuesday. And some big news there that see Hans Niemann was allowed to back to be playing. So we'll discuss that and maybe show you some of our exploits from Title Tuesday as well. Get some positions on the board just to show you what you need to be able to do to get good. I think we should be opening up this Puzzle Rush challenge to everybody, Johan.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah,
I think so. Yeah, so I think we're going to have a little bit of a Welsh-wide kind of challenge for everybody to see who can get the best score. And of course, our teammate here, there's only two of us on tonight. That's probably why there's only one person listening live, because Alex Bullin isn't here with us because he's actually in the Czech Republic. So all of his fans,
the one listening live, yeah.
He's probably the one listening live, yeah. He's probably in a pub somewhere in the Czech Republic going, these mugs. Having a good time. But he's an action.
Today, by the way. Oh, don't spoiler alert, actually. Let's come on to it later.
Yeah. We'll look at that later. And I thought we might have a look at Northumbria. I know that Tim was playing there. And just to see, because there was also the ratings rated over 2000 section, wasn't it? Which was quite interesting too. Right, okay. Well, let's have a look at the calendar, and probably the big news is did that just disappear completely? Oh well. The big news on the calendar really isn't a case that there's anything new, I don't think. But obviously the Newport Congress is happening in a week and a half's time, 8th to the 10th of September. The Welsh Senior Championships is included in it, and the Welsh Under-18 Championships is on there too. So, and the greatest news about this is that the tournaments, I think they might still be accepting one or two entries, but effectively they are full. I mean, what do you think about this, Johan? A tournament in Wales that's actually full?
Yeah, I think that's crazy. Like, it's so good, amazing. They've done a great job. But the other thing is, like, I didn't even realize that this was a thing until recently, because I was going to enter a tournament up here in Birmingham, and then it said it was full, and I was like, "Whoa, I've never heard of a tournament. Like, I didn't know that it was such a thing." So now that because obviously it must have never happened in my time ever in wet, So, that's brilliant news, really, because the tournament I played in January, it was not a massive hall, and it definitely there was enough room for a lot of more people, that's for sure. So. Fact that they've 140 people, is it?
I think it's 130, but I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they do have people knocking on the door saying, "Please let me in," because it's such a popular tournament, and it looks like it's attracted a lot of people. Maybe we've been slightly closer to the English border. I don't know how that's affected it. We'll have a look at the entrance in a second. Yeah. But with regards to tournaments being full up, we didn't see this previous to the pandemic, did we? It just didn't happen. And actually, since then, I think people come out and say we want to play chess. And it was actually, I think it was Alex Holochek's Birmingham Rapid Play, one-day Rapid Plays. They've been filling up super quick.
And that's
people
the one I was going to enter.
Yeah, people just haven't been. I mentioned it to some of my local juniors here, and Birmingham's. We can travel there definitely for a day. It's only like an hour and a little bit away. I said, if you want to enter, you got to enter. And they left it to a few days before. Tried to enter. I said they couldn't. It was full. Which is you got to get in there quick nowadays, haven't you? But okay, so there's
it stops people dawdling as well. But because I would have thought, apart from early birds and stuff like that, then you just think, I'll enter it the day before or something. But it's actually better for the organisers to know that people have entered and things.
Yeah, and it's great. I mean, I'm the highest rated entrant at the moment, but there's two of us in the 2100 bracket, of which Alex is one of them. So it does drop off FIDE rating wise.
Yeah, but you've got a bunch of
good players there
as well. That's a good tournament, isn't it?
Yeah. So I'm just looking at these, thinking, these are scary opponents. I mean, Jason Garcia, I'm pretty sure he used to be over 2,000.
Oh, Jason is, he's not. It's not good value for money playing him with that rating. I think.
No, I think he's on a cruise or just got back from a cruise, so maybe he'll be a bit rusty, or at least I hope. Here's your Hans Niemann lookalike, and I'm sure Sam's been told it before.
I can picture now that you mentioned it, I can picture his sort of Facebook profile and whatever. Yeah.
I was going to ask Alex actually. So we've got Jai Kathari from England coming over. Owen Cave, he's currently down as Wales there and classed as being part of the under-18 Welsh Championships. Perhaps I didn't know he was Welsh affiliated.
I mean, Iwan is a very Welsh name, so if you just for the name, you could be.
Yeah, maybe I've just got my wires crossed, to be honest. But obviously Duncan's too old now, but Bence is in there for that one. So we'll see how these players do against in the open section. But I mean, the intermediate section also, I know is quite well entered here. You've got, I mean, look how many entrants there's. I've got 68 entrants. All the way down to Toby at the bottom.
Is separate from the open.
Yeah, it's a separate. So it would have been nicer for me to play against people like Tim and Charles, I guess. But the seniors championship is completely separate, and they've got.
There's a lot of people in that.
19 players in.
Wow.
Yeah. So and these are players that I don't recognise every single name there actually, but I recognise most of the names there. That people have seen. Obviously, Tim and Charles will be the clear favourites, but I mean, there's still quite a lot of players there that can really cause an episode. I mean, you can never write Rudy off, can you? He's just one of those players.
That's really strong, isn't it? That's very strong.
Yeah, very strong for a seniors tournament as well. And I mean, 68 entrants there in the lower section. The open section's up to 52. I mean, it's just fantastic, really. And well done. I think it's Dave Norris, on Facebook, who's been publicising it.
Whatever they've done has worked, isn't it? So
yeah, well, I think just making sure people know about the tournament and just posting about it every single pretty much day or something like that. And we've got the Real Congress coming up in a couple of weeks afterwards. Obviously not as well populated in North Wales than it is in South Wales, but I'll be looking to try and go to that one. I haven't entered just yet, just making sure.
See how you do on this Newport one, is it?
No, not really. It shouldn't have an impact, but maybe it will. So we'll have to see. Good to see the Open Blitz Championship. I think that's in Bridgend, is on the 30th of September. We've got some ones closer to us, though, Johan, as well, which I'm actually tempted to enter that for a one-day event. If I can do.
Annoyingly, I can't on that day because, I think I need to find some childcare or something. But
yeah, well, there's other days. So there's one in Birmingham, there's one in Bolton. Not much else has changed here. Obviously, we know about the October events. For some reason Guernsey's on there. Junior Rapid Play, West Wales Congress. These are all the same, I think, from last time. So I like this thing that we've got these junior morning events going on. I think they should be pretty much all the time. You need to be having these events, and you should be able to get the money in from the juniors quite easily for that, because you should have so many playing in those tournaments. I actually heard, did you about when I think Tim was telling me they had like 500 juniors playing in Cardiff City Stadium. Were you around when that happened?
Yeah, I mean, there used to be this really big Cardiff junior event like every year. I forgot what it's called. It happened in like City Hall normally, but I think it's the same event, but it moved to the stadium. I do remember. They used to have a lot of kids playing that. Yeah, it was very strong as well. Yeah, everybody used to, because most of the kids were around Cardiff. So
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. No, well, I mean, good to be getting back to that. If you got, even 100 children playing chess in Wales would be amazing right now, let alone 500. You can just think about those numbers just for a second. It's just crazy. Not much change in the ratings. I guess maybe Alex has got some games in, which is why he's gone down 6. But these are all. Jane.
He won all his games, didn't he?
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Unless it's got today's games on. It's got his loss. So, we won't talk about that just yet.
Oh,
anyway, he's played in a.
That's like crazy. How did they get that like on there already? That's like today.
They must have known that we were doing this and known that we might go onto the ratings.
Yeah, maybe. But
I promise you, Alex.
Fast.
I promise you, Alex, that I did not call up the WCU rating officer and say, make sure his loss is on from today. I did not do that. But I didn't know that he had this draw in the local league. When did that happen? Against an 1800 Cardiff Uni, Cardiff Bishops. So he's lost some points for that, hasn't he?
There's a Cardiff Uni team. That's interesting.
Yeah. Be good to know more about that. Maybe next week we can have some more local league updates to see what's changed in the South Wales leagues as well. But I think Jane actually also, she's lost some points, but she played in Lancaster at the Leylands Congress. That's the one that I was talking about before, where it was the Open was like Oliver Jackson as the top seed at 2100, and it tailed off to like 1900s very quickly. And looks like she had a very solid tournament actually. 3 draws and a win. But okay, yeah. Apart from that, not much has changed. The difference is, I think it's still the Irish doing very, very well. In fact, of those two swapped places, wasn't it Louise last week that was ahead and Arush was in second?
I don't remember.
So we've got the Glorney gone on and the Glorney Gilbert gone on, and he got 3 points out of 6, which is actually pretty good.
Considering.
Yeah, considering. Yeah, it's always good to have those tournaments on. Okay, right. Well, what did I actually? Just hang on a minute. Let me just load up my my PowerPoint. I forgot what comes next. What comes next?
The top transfer, first £1 million transfer.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. So this is quite interesting, isn't it? So we've got government funding has come into the UCF. Rishi Sunak has said, "I'll give you 500k a year. Half of that's pretty much going towards some chess tables and some parks. The other half, I guess we don't know, coaching for top juniors and the national team. And then immediately afterwards, we have this guy. I'll make his picture a little bit bigger for people. Nikita Vitugov, formerly of Russia, has transferred over to England to be their new number 1. What do we make of that, Johan?
I always thought, playing for your country was like an honor thing, right? And it's like a privilege, and it's like, you feel really proud. But I just can't imagine playing for some random country that, you have no connection with. Like, it's a bit weird. It's like, it's a bit more like in football, isn't it? Where you just bought and you sold and you're moving about. But that seems to be what it's like in chess at the moment, And America seem to have brought in Aronian and So and like they've packed their Olympiad team full of 27 50 pluses. So
it was the Cuban that came over. Was it Dominguez Perez? He was formerly of Cuba, wasn't it?
Yeah,
as well.
Wesley was from Philippines, and I mean, despite their names, Nakamura and Caruana are American, I think, aren't they?
Yeah. Even though Caruana was Italian at one point, wasn't he?
Yeah, I think it was just easier to get in the Olympiad team for Italy, wasn't it? So he played for Italy when he was younger. But yeah, as soon as he hit 2,700, he went to America. But
yeah, I mean,
I just can't imagine playing for another country. Like it's a bit like Gareth Bale, or maybe he would have won some stuff if he was English. I don't know, but like you guys might have won a World Cup or something with Gareth Bale, but he just wouldn't have done it. It's just like a pride thing, isn't it?
But you have it in Welsh rugby, though, don't we? There's quite a few players that have potentially transferred over from other rugby playing nations to play for Wales.
I think you do have a lot of New Zealanders and like South Africans and stuff playing for random countries, don't you? Basically, because it's so hard to get in their own team. But I think in chess it's just I assume it's some money related thing, isn't it? I'd imagine.
Yeah, I assume so, but I mean, he's actually been quite outspoken about the Russia's invasion of Ukraine. So he's kind of on the right side of that argument, shall we say? And maybe he's living in England and has been, and that's basically it. But it sounds almost like this funding's coming, and then straight away, he's been headhunted over to play for England, and obviously England are going to be more of a force to be reckoned with now. Obviously, they still had Howell, Adams, McShane, and Gawain Jones, who were kind of like their four players that would play all of the critical rounds. But now, obviously, they're going to have him on top board. Potentially, I mean, he might play even lower down. Who knows? Which might upset some of their previous fifth board options.
The Short doesn't really play, does he?
No. And John Nunn, I think, isn't bothered at his age. He goes for the seniors.
I didn't realise he was so highly rated, John Nunn. Does he just not active or something? Or...
Yeah, I think
this is
active
players. This is active players, so he must be playing.
Yeah, he is still active, but I think maybe in senior events. But I mean, he's still a quality player, though. I mean, he's not good. But if you were Nick Pert, Daniel Fernandez, Amit, Amit's probably had a really terrible week, hasn't he? If you think about it. I mean, he's got this news that his Olympiad spot's just gone. And he loses to me at Blitz in the same week online.
Maybe that's why he did lose it to you at Blitz. He was just devastated about, moving down to number 10 or...
Yeah, I'm sorry, Amit. but I mean, you've got these players.
Probably going to give up chess now, Yeah.
Well, the thing is, Nick Pert has actually gone before to the Olympiad, hasn't he? At 25, 26, and you look at how close he's only 25, 26. You go down to like something like Brandon Clark, and Marcus Harvey even as well. Harry Grieve maybe he's going up on the up. Danny Gormali's even been before. They're probably when he was higher rated. These and there's some lower down that could improve, of course. But I mean, they're obviously not feeling quite good about their Olympiad shot anymore, because when you play for England, I guess it's not a case that you're having to self-fund yourself when you go over there. You get paid to go, don't you? So it's actually a really good...
do you have any idea how much they get paid? I would love to know, just out of curiosity,
I have no idea.
I can't even put a ballpark figure on it. I don't even I couldn't guess,
No, I have no idea. And the reason why I have no idea is because the only thing I know about is I think in the 4 and CL, I think the top players get paid £1,000 a game.
What?
That's what I heard. No.
I know that. I think I heard that for the special ones that they bring in that are super duper like
Shirov maybe.
I think I remember when Mirosevic came over and he was at his peak. I remember someone saying he got $1,000 for that game, but that he was number 3 in the world or something,
Yeah, okay. But then again, with inflation.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
Maybe.
It was more than £1,000 back in the day, wasn't it? But, my ex-girlfriend used to get paid a decent amount to play. So I think she got £100 plus expenses a game, and that's from coming from a different country. So so the expenses weren't negligible. So like flights and hotel and stuff. So yeah, I can imagine £1,000.
That would be nice. It really makes me want to get better at chess and then realize just how hard it is. But I mean, you get it. People transfer over. They've had it in the England women, and obviously we know about it in the Welsh men's team as well. So it's obviously welcome additions for competition to make us stronger. As long as they're active, and I think this is Tim's played 21 games last month.
Wow,
Tim, that is amazing.
Oh, he's gone past Alex, has he?
Oh yeah. Have they updated it for tomorrow? Is that what's happened?
Right. He lost points, but that will be on the next list, is it? So he's very close with Alex then.
No, I think that's including the lost points. He gained like 40 at mine, and he gained at the British. And then he lost points in Northumbria. He only lost 10 though in Northumbria, didn't he?
He gained 40 at your tournament.
Something like that, yeah. Might have even been 50.
That's incredible.
Yeah. Well, I mean, to be honest, you saw my games. I could have easily gained 50 points myself.
Oh, yeah.
It's a couple of swings and then that's it. I went up 1 point, by the way. 1 point. But Alex is gaining. Well, we'll look at Alex in a second. He's 2 points behind Tim, and that's obviously they're close for an Olympiad spot as well. But I'd like to see these guys play, and I know that Dan played in the South Wales International as well. Love to see Jose and Greg back at the board. I know that John Cooper, I don't think he's too bothered. He played for NCL, didn't he? I haven't seen Carl in Wales for forever. I even messaged Elijah actually today to come and play in my tournament. And he said he's given up chess for the time being. Oh, right. So I don't think we'll see him. But yeah, mind you, even Peter Varley then, I guess if he wants to go, then he's in the mix.
We'll see how he does against you guys next weekend.
Yeah, if he gets to players, that is. So England's got a new number one, obviously formerly of Russia, which is kind of convenient that the funding's just been announced and then he gets pulled in. So that's one way to improve your squad, just to get players to come in. And I thought it would be a good tournament because he's over 2,700. And you mentioned before on the chat, Johan, about players being over 2,800 before. Yeah. And do you want to just pad that out a bit for me?
Well, I was surprised because I forgot why I looked it up now. But what did I want to look up? It was something. I got lost. By the amount of people that have been over 2,800. Do you know how many people have been over 2,800? If you had to guess.
Well, the only thing that I know is that the person that's been second behind Carlson seems to have changed every 6 months to a year or something like that. Yeah. I remember when everybody was raving about Wesley So. I remember that time when Wesley So was amazing. He was number 2 in the world.
Yeah.
Brilliant. I also remember that Mamediyarov got to number 2. And I was like, oh, he's the same age as me. I used to play in the same World Youth Championships as him.
Yeah.
Good on him, even though, and thinking, God, somebody from my age is actually there. I remember
Mamediyarov was actually quite friendly with Slava. Do you remember Slava Barenkov?
Oh, really? Was he?
Yeah,
I remember Slava, yeah.
So we I don't know, they used to speak, maybe he speaks Russian or something, I don't know. But I remember playing some blitz games with Mamediyarov in the lobby at the World Youth because he was obviously knew that he was going to be a big deal or something. And he won it that year as well. But he was playing 5 minutes versus 2 minutes against everyone and stuff. So
just taking the mic.
But yeah, he was really nice guy. But he was very friendly with Slava. I don't know why, but maybe I don't know. Slava was a massive Mamediyarov fan, but I must have missed I realized what's happened is that I wasn't following chess for a few years, maybe at all. And when you just mentioned Wesley So, I've never seen So play very well at all.
Really?
As in, never he's extremely solid, difficult to beat, but he just doesn't beat anyone, does he?
No.
So he's just solid and difficult to beat. Then Ferrugia, he just plays so inaccurately for a super GM. He makes mistakes every game, while a lot of the top players don't make a single mistake.
He goes to quite crazy positions, though, doesn't he?
Yeah. He goes But there's sometimes he misses tactics that are you should see for sure. But I mean, he has dropped a lot of points, but I've never seen him play that well, ever. It's really weird. There's this missing 3 years where Mamedyarov, and Firouzja just obviously were doing very well, and I don't remember that. But also Aronian apparently was 28-30. I knew he was very good.
Yeah,
but 28-30.
He's down here now.
So he's talking about deflation, right? Like these people, they're on the list. They're 100 points lower now. It's crazy.
Yeah.
So there's been 14 people over 2,800. I didn't realize. I thought there was about 4 people or something. 5, but 14.
14 is a significant amount, and especially it's kind of like when you compare it to today. Though, and you look at today, and no wonder Carlson's getting a problem of getting to 2,900, which could be one of his goals, because everybody else is just so low. You look at. So I mean, everybody's impacted, and it looks like it's dragging down some of the top. Although obviously you can't say it's hurting everybody. I mean, Gukesh is here at number 8 in the world, and he's obviously he's one of those Indian juniors. Adams, Mark. Oh, Adams M. It's okay. I assume that's Mark. And hello, take the space as well. He's probably taking all their points, but I mean, the thing is, these players can easily lose. The amount that they play, they can go up and down 50 points so easily, can't they? Which is
but
crazy.
The K factor is small, and it is hard to game. Actually, I think they don't play any opens. So because if they played opens, you see what happens to Hans's rating. He's plummeted because it's crazy. Oh, so the average rating. So 2018 was one of the years that I wasn't following chess. So there was just obviously a lot of 2800s around then. That's
just crazy though, isn't it? Yeah, CBS said, thank you very much for that. That's brilliant. An average rating of 2802 in a tournament.
So I guess Caruana was super high then. He was at his peak, wasn't he? So Caruana was just killing everyone at one point.
He did that tournament where he won 7 games in a row against the world's elite, didn't he? And nearly steamrolled it. But because I came back, I think I kind of missed Aronian's kind of peak days. I maybe wasn't playing as much or following it as much because he was touted as if he could actually win the candidates, get a world championship match, he could technically beat Carlson. He's outplayed him before in a game.
Good match player for sure, he would be, but he's kind of too solid to win the candidates. You've got to be a bit you've got to have a bit of flair to win the candidates, haven't you? Unfortunately, so it makes it more difficult for certain players to win the candidates.
Yeah, and England's new number 1 goes in at number 25 in the world.
Wow.
So
surrounded by youngsters. Look at that. We've got Kamer, Vidit. Oh no, Vidit's a bit older, isn't he? So Abdusaturov and Erigaisi.
Is Duda still classed as a youngster? I mean, he's not really a youngster anymore in my mind, but
no, he isn't. No.
I see. Yeah, I mean it's crazy strong, isn't it? And okay, right. Well, so ratings clearly deflated, and obviously that affects everybody. Which is quite interesting actually, because at the Real Congress, I was thinking about this before. I can play against 1800. I'm rated 2200 nearly. I'm 2 points short of 2200, but that's probably about definitely my strength. I think maybe I could get up more. Playing against 1800s, 1850s, I was really having to work hard to beat them. Yet we have major sections. You have an open section, and then you have a major section which is under 1900. And anywhere that's just under 1900 always goes into the under 1900 section. Yeah. I'm thinking, they're probably good enough to play, but with rating deflation, maybe 5-10 years ago, perhaps their rating would be over 2000, maybe. But now it's not, and so the gap is different. And I'm just thinking maybe those major sections are actually a lot harder than what people are possibly thinking they are. Okay, right. Well, we'll have a little discussion about Hans being back in Title Tuesday.
Yeah, he didn't really make much of a splash, did he? I didn't even note. He wasn't at the top either, was he? Did you notice him at all? How many points did he get?
He did finish in the kind of the report on chess.com.
But I think he was well down, wasn't he?
No, I don't think he. Well, I think he got back in the end. I think.
Did he? Okay.
I think he got back in the end. So
he's not really a top. He's not a top player, is he? So
no, he's not a super top. But there was maybe one thing that was, we didn't see any of the super top players play either.
Yeah.
So I'm just wondering, is there some sort of boycott going on that we don't know about?
No, it was just because of the world teams.
Okay, the world teams, and they were forbidden.
They were all there. They were all there. So, and they're probably having a bit of a social instead of they're all in one place and they're not taking it super seriously. So they're probably just chilling after the World Cup, I'd imagine. Because Carlson and that are at a different tournament, so it's not the World Cup. It's I don't know what they're playing at. They're playing some Generation Cup or something.
Yeah, Julius Baer thing.
Yeah. So I think basically everyone was playing at something except for the ones that played Title Tuesday, because that's where all the cool kids were.
Well, it's good to play every week, and obviously for those that are watching, if you're just watching now, myself, Johan, and Alex, and even Dan Kozizek, we're trying to play Title Tuesday every single week. And for the first time this week, I kind of streamed live while trying to play. I was playing on my phone, which is it was fine to do. Maybe I was a little distracted from the stream, which is why I let you beat me this week, Johan.
This is the first week that I actually got reasonable results. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, I thought you played really well, to be honest. And good if you've got any games that you want to show us. But maybe I can have a look in a second. But before we do, I guess in the chat, is Black to play in this position? What would you play as Black here? And I was against somebody that I'm maybe meant to beat, but still sometimes I think I overpressed a little bit in this game, but only slightly. My opponent played very well, but you've got to make the most of your opportunities. And I got a couple of positions that I had in my blitz games where, this is when you look at, there's something called aim chess on chess.com. Have you looked at aim chess, Johan?
No.
You've not looked at aim chess. Well, we'll even have a look at it. So, like aim chess training, you click on it, right?
Yeah.
So chess.com, my username is Gunslinger222. You click get report. Now it's got a paid for option, which I don't pay for. I'm just going on the free thing. But it basically kind of gives you all these different things, like how good you are in them. So how good was your opening play? How good were you?
Pretty good at openings then, 100%. Yeah.
Well, I mean, I think it's a little bit skewed, but it's got resourcefulness, advantage capitalization, time management. How good were you in the end game?
Yeah.
And really, what you can do is, if you play enough blitz games, you can just feed them all into this, and then it will tell you basically where you're terrible at, and then you have to go and work at that, basically.
That's interesting.
Yeah, I just thought it was quite a good resource, to be honest, for people to use.
I did not know about it, so I've picked up on that. That's great, thanks.
Yeah, no problem. And well, this is just resourcefulness and kind of this end game.
I was going to ask you about this, but I just assumed, right? But you were aiming for this, weren't you? Right?
I was aiming. Well, I wasn't aiming for it in this position, but I was looking out for it.
Yeah,
I was definitely looking out for it, and because I just know sometimes that it can be awkward. And here after F4, and yes. Mark, King H6 is actually one of the winning moves. As is King F8 a winning move.
Okay, I was going to ask, is it still winning? But yeah, okay.
But the thing is, though, when you've got 2.7 seconds left, the two moves that come to mind are H4, in which case my king just comes to take the pawn. And it doesn't actually come to take the pawn immediately, by the way. After this, let me just turn this off. I don't want computers to tell me what to do. The H4, king goes to here. If king goes to G6, I think I can throw in F5 check, which is a useful check to throw in.
And then black has to be careful, yeah?
Well, I guess he can go to G7.
You can shuffle for between, okay.
Yeah, so I think we just both shuffle and it's a draw. Yeah. But the other move, which is what he played, was king F7, and it's stalemate. And that was just like brilliant and looking for that. And I the amount of games that I've sometimes even won in the end game, but when people's times ticks down and they don't know how to finish the end games at all, I've drawn so many games because people can't finish them off. When most people would resign, I've just been playing on and doing that annoying thing of playing on. This is another game. I mean, I'll show you how badly I was losing
great.
this one.
This one's really good.
Look how many pawns, like here.
Wow.
This is the position, right? I've tried to get some sort of checkmating pattern on his king. It just doesn't work at all. And he actually plays really well. Or she, I don't know. Lord Crazy.
Yeah, okay.
And do a really good job here. I play rook b8, and then they take the bishop off. It's the right decision. It's the right decision. This game here is completely lost for me. I'm 4 pawns down.
Yeah.
It's not 2 pawns, 4 pawns down. Right?
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, wow.
And yet, you know, we do all these things. You keep harassing the pawns. You know, I knew what, you know, he gave away this pawn deliberately to get this pawn further forwards, block it out. And I know already from 10 moves ago, I knew what I was looking for. I knew exactly what I was going for here. And I was just waiting for the moment to come in. That's why I blocked this pawn with my rook. I thought, okay, keep going, set the position up, give this check, right? Please push the pawn forward. He pushes the pawn forward. I'm like, yes, come on, keep pushing that pawn forward. And he's like, okay, no, push the pawn forward.
Oh my gosh.
Take stalemate.
That's fantastic, though. Yeah.
And obviously, I mean, he's got 24 seconds left, which is still plenty of time to see it. You know, maybe he can move the rook, but it's just so natural to push it forward, isn't it? You know, it just feels like the right thing to do. And to actually know that this is stalemate with the king covering all of these squares and the rook obviously covering the back. If you don't know that this is stalemate, you don't know to play for it.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's some of my successes from this past week. Basically, I've been playing terrible chess and losing.
It would be useful to know stalemating patterns, isn't it? Like, yeah. There's, I know, I did quite a bit of end games before my last tournament, and there's some, like, obviously the top players know some pretty crazy stalemating things because I remember, especially Lecco. Like, there's quite a few games by Lecco where and Polgar, where they find these incredible stalemates, like, and they're just really beautiful stalemates as well, like that are quite hard to get out of sometimes in certain end games. And I've got the game saved somewhere, but to revisit. But it's certainly worth remembering.
Yeah, I mean, this is just Puzzle Rush. So I just played.
Yeah.
It was like, okay.
Yeah, that's a really common one that comes up in Puzzle Rush, isn't it?
Yeah, all the time, isn't it? Yeah. And there it is in the game. I just thought it was quite funny. So for those people that are watching, and myself and Johan have been having a little bit of friendly banter, shall we say, about who can do Puzzle Rush on chess.com, the 3-minute one with getting the highest score. You know, I think I set the record, was it about a week and a half ago, about 38. And then Johan put a little bit of effort in. He's got up to 39. And I was like, damn it, what's going to happen? And then I put a load of effort in.
You smashed through the 40 barrier.
I did, yeah. And the thing is, I got 41. But I actually had had 3 fails in that as well. So the challenge really is to the chat and anybody watching, because actually I think it's the top Welsh score, you know. So you look at the leaderboard and friends, and Dan Kozizek's on 41. I don't know who this is with a Welsh flag. Who's us?
Yeah, I don't know who that is. I was going to ask you actually, because I've got them as follow as well. So
who are they? Who are you? Arsenio 94 with a Welsh flag. I mean, I hope that you hope that you're Welsh, and well done for getting such a high Puzzle Rush score. But you know, this is the number to beat. Can anybody beat 41, or can anybody get to 41 as well? You see Johan down there on 39, and he's you know. Alex, I don't think he's really tried at 31, so maybe when he tries, Welsh Tiger can definitely do better than 29. So we want to get these guys trying to get high, and just see how high you can get. And I
was going to say, do you know, like, sometimes you can actually look at how many times people have played it as well, right? So, like, because obviously it's different if they've only done it 5 times or 1,000.
Yeah.
And because I often look at, just out of interest, like, the top players sometimes, and I just see what Puzzle Rush score they've got and how many times they've played it and stuff like that. And actually, there was somebody I looked at this week. They had a relatively low score, and they played it over 1,200 times. And I was like, I looked at mine, and I know most of the time I'm doing it, I'm not really taking it very seriously. Like, oh, I've got like, lots of stuff going on in the room and, whatever. But so I've only had 100 goes between the three different variants of it as well, because I've been doing the survival one a little bit this week instead, because you can do that when there's noise and stuff going on and all of that as well, because you can take as long as you want over them. So, and how have you been? Would you recommend the survival Puzzle Rush to people to do? Is that a good form of training? The survival one is I think is probably better for training, right? Like for your actual chess. Okay. Because it's not when you're doing the Puzzle Rush, right? The first 35 are really simple, aren't they? And then the next ones are simple, but not to do in 2 seconds. You might take 4 seconds over them or something if you're quick. But like the ones when you get higher than 40, then they start getting harder then, and they start getting a little bit more like ones that you should spot in your games, but you might not. So I mean, I agree with that. I mean, in order for me to get that 41 score, I was literally I'm probably failing at like getting up to like 20 or 30 in some of them, and failing 3 and moving on because I'm going that fast. You've got to go super fast at the first ones to buy you time for the last ones, really. I'm going on purely on instincts. I'm seeing if the queen can give a check. I haven't even looked if it's guarded. I'm just doing the move. You play the check first, work it out later. Figure out the next move. In the survival one, you can take as long as you want, but then when you're on about there's something like, you should have seen this one I had today I was only on about 50, 58, but it was just like a position you'd never get in a game. It was completely pointless in terms of, it was just pure calculation training, and like the patterns were just nothing that you'd ever get in a game, and it was kind of annoying. It was really difficult, but it was super difficult. There's so many different checks and things to calculate, and I probably needed a bit more peace and quiet to get it done. I think it was annoying because I got 6 moves right, and then the 7th move I got wrong, so it was like, oh no. I see you've got up to 64 here then, so these get like super hard then I think when you're at over 60, then the rating of the puzzle is around 3,400 or more than that. So it's a very difficult puzzle, right? You probably need to be over 2,200, I guess, like over the board rating to do it. Maybe, I don't know. Okay, well, you've heard it there. If you want to get better at chess, then click on survival. Although if you want a bit of fun, then let's see how we can get it. 3 minutes more fun, 3-minute Puzzle Rush. We want to see just how high people can get to, and if people can beat the 41 score, great. Might even do some. Maybe the Welsh Chess Union can give some financial reward for any junior that beats 41. And can legitimately get over 30 if watched as well. Would be a good thing. Okay, right. Well, that's some good stuff there. Obviously, Hans Niemann's back in Title Tuesday Puzzle Rush Challenge. We've talked about that. Our man AB is in action, and a bit of a surprise. He was on top board yesterday. He was on top board, but he lost his last game to, I think it was this Martin Husek, who's 2,100. He's still gaining some points though. He's still gaining. Okay. Yeah. So if I click on his scores, got the nice Welsh flag there, beautiful Welsh flag. Still 10 points up. Okay. Yeah, he's still plus 10. So I guess in the live rating. How long is this tournament? 9 rounds, is it? I would assume so. I can't remember him saying, because it's not a norm tournament, is it? So it's just a tournament, so it could be set. No, out of 7 out of 9. Yeah. 7 out of 9. Yeah. So he's on round 7. He's got a while to overtake the top guy again. So
he's got a 1700 somewhere. I mean, it's a bit difficult to understand, what these ratings actually mean when they're in a different country, isn't it? Which is not easy to do. So you don't know if that's a really strong 1700 or not. Hopefully, you can find some games on this opponent, and good luck to you, Alex, in the last couple of rounds. And hopefully, we'll see some.
I guess you can assume he's a little bit underrated, right? If you look at the national ratings compared to the FIDE ratings, they're the same for everyone except for this guy. So that they've got tomorrow.
For Vaclav's FIDE is higher.
Okay, yeah.
Same with Michael by a little bit, but yeah. So actually, maybe
it's similar, but this one is 160 points out. So maybe underrated, possibly, which is not what you want. But a win's a win.
He should still be the favourite though to beat an 1864. So, well, he was leading the tournament, which would have been amazing if he won because he drew with the IM. So I guess he only had this Martin guy left to play, perhaps. But he's on board 3. If he wins and whatever happens, he's still got. I guess technically 3 more rounds to do it. So good luck to Alex, and hopefully he'll be joining us next week. Somebody says, "Are you a teacher?" Yes, I am. Actually, qualified official maths teacher. I guess also chess teacher as well. And so are you, Johan. You're also teaching chess as well, aren't you?
I am, but I don't have anyone to teach at the moment. So. I've kind of sort of semi put the effort in, but I have not put as much. I've kind of made a website, but I haven't shown that to anyone or advertised in any meaningful way. So if anybody wants any chess coaching, then all my students have reached over 2,000 over the board. So I think that's quite a claim for a Welsh chess coach. So.
Very good. I mean, I've just had another email today about somebody asking for coaching for their child. Sorry, Johan. But to be honest, though,
John, no.
well, actually, though, midweek though, I don't actually know where. Apart from fitting this one in, and I know I've got another local one as well potentially. I don't know where I'm going to have the time to fit any more in. I honestly don't. It's
Mr. Successful chess coach there.
Well, you're spilling over into weekends, and it's always difficult weekends. And I want to play chess, or I want to do a training day or something like that. I'm definitely going to do more training days where I invite a load of people in, adults to come in, for example, for a day of training into Newcastle under Lyme. I think I charged 30 quid before. Maybe I can charge £40 now. Who knows? We'll see. But okay, actually, before we look at Northumbria, I actually thought we'd just have a look at this Cambridge International Open. Have you seen this advertised, Johan?
This is next year, though, isn't it?
Sometime? It is next year.
Yeah, I fancy playing that, actually. Yeah, because last year it looked really appealing.
It did look really appealing. Great event. I love the way that it's set up, and that it's just basically one big tournament.
They've got all these entrants already?
Yeah.
What? That's crazy. Who's the Welsh person in? I bet it's Tim, is it?
No, it's Nazir Rizvi.
Oh, okay. I don't.
But I was shocked when I saw that they were they wanted people to enter the tournament, and they made it 1,600 plus.
Okay.
So you've got the crazy thing here is you've got obviously the top GMs that are probably getting some sort of conditions to play.
Yeah.
Maybe the IMs because they want to play each other. Then you've got this thin kind of neck of 2100s that are wanting to play the GMs and everything. And then you have this big tail of going all the way down in 19, 18, 17, 1600s.
Yeah.
You fancy shot. This tournament filled up last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think it was full last year. So if you want to play, you need to get in quickly.
Well, I saw it advertised, I think, last week for the first time. And I thought, I'll check the dates on that because it looked like a good tournament last year. But
if you don't, I'll try and run a tournament in Newcastle for you.
Okay.
But we'll see. Okay. So just really Northumbria to have a look at then, just where Tim played. Quickly. Why is this not resetting? And I forgot to load that up beforehand, so we'll just click on that. Anything else to discuss, Johan, before I
28-day workout. You said you've been looking at exercise, so
I have been looking at exercise. I don't know why that's
if you want to know what an 8-pack is, John, go back to that.
I'm all right, mate. So the interesting thing about Northumbria, I know it's not Chess in Wales, but two things was that as a rating was 2,000 plus, so you had to be highly rated. Apart from maybe Man-Made Chopra there at the bottom. We also had a Welsh representative, Tim Kett, playing in it, who's played quite well recently. And it was just interesting to see because I was looking down this entire list of players thinking these are all, good players. That's a really good tournament. And if we click on like round 9, for example, here, you can actually see that's go away. Actually, Stephen Jones did very well. Our teammate, he came third in the end with his last round win. And behind
got back to the top after starting badly. Then it seems.
Well, Keith Arkle didn't. Danny Gormley and Gudmunda Tansen did. They were joint winner.
Well, they were on the top boards. They were just down for the whole tournament, weren't they?
Yeah. So well played, Stephen. And I think Tim had quite a lot of buys in this tournament.
You know what I was going to say? What I noticed, right, looking at those scores, which is odd, is that everybody seemed to get a lot of points. There wasn't like anybody on like 0, 1, 2, and 3. Like there must have been a lot of draws of that tournament.
Yeah, well, let's have a look at. I mean, he got 3 points, right? I drew with this guy actually. So he wasn't paired in the first round for a half-point buy. Then you got Stephen and then Keith in a row.
Right. Okay. So you got a full point.
Then he drew Jude, lost to Charles Story, and then got a good win actually, and then lost his last 2. I mean, he's had some good games to be fair. So strong tournament, but I guess this is kind of a little bit similar to the Cambridge one, but Cambridge hasn't got the rating for. So there's going to be a lot of yo-yoing, I think, in those first couple of rounds. Does that accelerated pairing deal with that?
Okay, yes. So I guess that's the way to stop people's norms getting sort of messed up, isn't it? The accelerated pairing, potentially.
Yeah, possibly. How does that work then? Because
I don't know. Is it where they chop the tournament in half, right? So the bottom half, you treat the bottom half as a tournament and the top half as a tournament until round 3 or 4 or something like that.
Yeah, I thought it was something. I thought it was almost like you cut it in half. You treated the top half as if they had an extra point. Yeah. So, for example, if you're in the top half of the tournament and you lost your first game, then you would play somebody from the bottom half who won, or they might do that after 2 rounds. Let's say somebody that's on 1 out of 2 would play. Somebody on 0 out of 2 from the top half would play somebody on 1 out of 2 from the bottom half, and something like that. That makes a lot of sense.
The only tournament I've ever had that was in. I played in Hastings once, but I had a pretty horrendous health issue, and had to pull out when the pairings were going to go back to normal. So it was like, so I don't know what happened.
Wow.
That was terrible.
I'd love to play in Hastings.
It just put me off Hastings for life. I don't even want to go there as a place. Like I was just there on my own, and like just the worst flu of my entire life. I couldn't move. Like it was just terrible.
What year was this? It wasn't in 2017, 18, was it?
I know, I was quite young, so I was 4. So it must have been about 2002, maybe 2003.
Did you know that I used to live near Hastings?
Did you? Okay.
Yes, I think when I was 2 till when I was about 9, we used to live about 20 minutes away from Hastings or something like that. And that was when I was getting into chess, of course, and we didn't realise just how big chess was down there, and we moved away from the big chess place to the small chess place. And that's when I started to play in the club, which is quite funny. Okay, Jan, final thoughts? Anything coming up chess-wise for you?
No, I need to find some tournaments to play, and I'm going to be jealous when you guys are playing next weekend in Newport. So
that's all we're going to be talking about on Thursday. Alex is just back from a tournament, about to play a tournament.
I need to now get my calendar out and start packing it out. Maybe, I don't know. So
you're not going to play in the Warrington Chess 960 the weekend?
So that was I need to look into that. Yeah. I would like to play in that. Although I played a few 960 games just after you mentioned it. And I just realized I kind of forgot. It takes a little while to get into it. So my first game was horrendous. You just blunder pieces because, these connections are not there where you're expecting.
Yeah.
I kind of started to get into it, but I only played about 5 or 6 games. And I think I think if I'm going to play in that tournament, I'll probably need to play quite a bit of 960 first. Otherwise it can go badly.
Yeah. Yeah, because I'm still not down with the castling rules, to be honest. So, I would be just a fish out of water there. I wouldn't.
Wesley So wasn't in the World Championships, didn't he? Like, I don't know. You probably didn't follow it.
I heard about it. I didn't.
I was quite into 960. Like, I played quite a lot, and he thought he allowed like a mate in 1 or something because a mate in 2 because he thought he could just castle, and they had to tell him who he was. He was the world champion at the time.
He allowed a check, didn't he? He thought he could castle out a check, didn't he? Or was it something like that?
I don't think it was that basic because, like, you just assume that you couldn't out that, wouldn't you? I don't know.
Yeah, I thought. Yeah, we'll look that up maybe.
I don't know. Oh, maybe through check, castle through check. I think maybe he thought. Yeah, but it's more confusing, obviously. Yeah, but it's good training. Playing 960 is really good.
Yeah, you mentioned this before. So we've talked about Puzzle Rush Survival. Chess 960, you think, is also a good training tool as well to use. So maybe if people want to experiment with that, can you do that on chess.com?
Yeah, you can. Yeah.
Where is it? Where do I have to go?
Go to play.
4-player and variants.
No, just press play and then play online. Because the variant ones are things like duck chess and things, but there's a drop down and you've got to change it from standard. Yes, from standard to 960.
Chess 960. Yeah. Oh yeah, you got all these crazy. I've played I played a lot of 4-player chess, I think, over the pandemic or something, or before that, and I actually got quite a high rating. Okay. Got over like 2100, I think it was, but I wasn't seriously playing it.
I played 3 check after you mentioned the 960 thing, and I had a couple of games, and I thought, what's this 3 check thing? Oh my god! I'd have to show you. I played this one game. I had this amazing combination, like, to win the game. Where
why don't you show us? Bring it on.
Because now I've only just seen it. Like, now that you mention it, I remember. But it was just like it was quite funny coming up with a combination that was not. It was just to give checks.
Yeah, you have to think differently, don't you?
Yeah, to sacrifice some ridiculous stuff and put some stuff on but you just couldn't stop it. And it was, the person had already checked me twice, and I hadn't got a single check in, and he was imminently about to check me. And
no!
And it was I got a bit more of a kick out of it than winning a normal game, because I'd never played 3 check before. But yeah.
Well, I'd love to see this tactic, and hopefully you can show us next week, Johan, as well. But we are, we're kind of out of time, and I'm going to go to bed. Not much is happening for me this next week, chess-wise. My chess clubs are starting back next week. That's really the only main thing that's happening. My schools will start probably the week after, or even maybe the week after that, because sometimes they're a bit slow to go back. But yeah, no, thank you very much, everybody, for watching. If you want to click like and follow us, please, on Twitch, please do so. We're streaming now twice a week, Tuesdays and Thursday nights. One for Title Tuesday on the Tuesday, obviously, and obviously this on the Thursday too. But yeah, we'll see you in Newport, or possibly see you online next week. Thanks very much for watching, everybody. Bye-bye.
Bye.